starts ago in Boston, he got the Royals' last win. The Royals scored 8 runs for him as Hochevar took advantage of big run support. That was the only win the Royals had in the Red Sox series. Facing a similar lineup tonight with a lot of power in the Rangers, here's the Kia pitching report.
Well, Ryan, Luke has been a streak ender. Ross have won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's tough at home, 3-1. Only 3 home runs allowed in 6 starts. So really the task for him tonight is to be able to go out there, keep the score down, and give his team a chance to win the game.
The lineup that he will face tonight, presented by M&I Bank. The Rangers only scoring 2 runs last night. Only a couple of changes. Andrew Jones will be the designated hitter in place of David Murphy. And quite a switch at shortstop. You go from 20-year-old Elvis Andrus to 42-year-old Omar Vizquel. Tonight the Royals will try and get the offense going against a pitcher they've never faced before, one of the Rangers' top pitching prospects in left-hander Derek Holland. Royals and the Rangers, the first pitch is next. Celebrating Christmas in July. He's taking it a step further. He has his Santa bag and going around passing out candy to those assembled tonight.
Well, I think you said it all, Ryan. Everybody should have as free a spirit as Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like he's just one guy that kind of knows what he wants his day to be like every day. And that's usually somewhere centered around Raw's baseball.
Today's game in high definition brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Ron Washington's team now is 12 games above 500. Still chasing the Angels in the West. Didn't pick up any ground last night with the Angels beating the Minnesota Twins. It'll be Ian Kinsler, Michael Young, and Josh Hamilton coming up here against Luke Hochevar. Luke has never faced the Texas Rangers. Took a no decision on Sunday against Tampa Bay. One of the best starts of his major league career. Going 6 1/3 innings. without a walk and a career-high 9 strikeouts. Kinsler 0 for 5, a rare hitless game for him against the Royals. Almost a .400 career hitter against KC. And Luke starts him off with a slider. A couple of strikeouts for Kinsler last night against Zach Greinke. Zach getting 10 in his 7 innings. And no team strikes out more in the American League than the Texas Rangers. Unfortunately, though, Zach walked away with the loss. Driven into deep left, and to Jesus all the way to the track, and at the wall brings it down. Kinsler going for his 24th home run would tie him for the league lead, but comes up just a little short.
Well, David did a real good job, Ryan, of just tracking this ball, and that wall kind of rounds out, and he did a real good job getting up there and getting the ball in the glove before it hit the wall. Then when you watch the direction of his glove, how it was facing the left field foul pole, that kind of tells you when that ball gets up high like that, it's coming back toward him, where normally his back would be to the wall, and his glove would be facing the infield. But he was actually catching the ball like it was actually coming back to him in that little triangle that we always talk about.
Can he get this one? No. Michael Young gets his 13th. The Rangers with their 142nd home run of the year, second in the league coming in tonight, and have an early lead against Hochevar.
Well, Luke is off to a pretty tough start here, Ryan. He just got too much at the middle of the plate, and here, you know, Kinsler really did a great job in keeping this ball in the ballpark, but here Michael Young, this ball ran right into his bat, and he just hit it over the wall.
So now it's 0-1 on Hamilton.
So location right now is a big problem for Luke. He needs to get the ball down and a little bit more away from the right-handed hitters.
Now the wind right now is blowing left to right and knocking down both of those balls. Kinsler, I imagine, thought he got more of his pitch, and Michael Young, the way he made contact and with his swing, I didn't even think that was going to be close. I thought that might challenge those plaza seats in front of the Hall of Fame, but looks like you might be able to pitch somewhat to left field tonight.
But Kinsler swings more upright than Michael Young does, and so he got a lot of height to his ball and didn't travel quite as well. And while Michael Young hit more of a line drive, but both balls were really squared up well.
Good comeback for Hochevar to get Hamilton. So 2 down. 83 degrees. Started on time at 6:10. Time at 10 brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. And there are some of the shadows that everyone will have to deal with the 6:10 start. Andrew Jones, who won 10 Gold Gloves with the Atlanta Braves, was away from the Braves for the first time last year, and that was not a good experience, as he hit 158 in 75 games with the Dodgers. He was on the disabled list twice, trying to put things back together with the Rangers.
But one thing you remember last year, it seemed like every time a pitcher would throw a breaking ball, he would always chase that bad breaking ball down in the zone. So it's like he saw very few fastballs, but a lot of breaking balls down.
Takes that one for a strike, and Hochevar, after the home run, strikes out Hamilton and Jones. Back behind the plate after Brian Pena started last night. John Buck will be the designated hitter, and Ryan Friel is in right field. And for the first time, the Royals will face 22-year-old Derek Holland. Here's the Kia scouting report.
Right, he's having 7 strikeouts per 9 innings, 50 total in 20 games. Right, he's hitting .319 with 10 home runs. That 6.02 ERA, to me, as a raw hitter, would stand out big. You have to expect to score some runs tonight with Derek Holland on the mound.
Shutout last night for the 9th time this year. Jesus was 0 for 2 last night, did walk twice.
I remember when I was playing and we'd come in and we'd see the ERA of the pitcher and the hitters would start talking. You know, when you see a guy with a 5 ERA or above, then you always kind of assume you're going to get four runs in that game, at least 4. So that was really the motivation going into the game, was the pitcher's ERA.
So what did that tell you about a pitcher? How did it adjust the way you approached him if you saw a number like that?
Well, we just basically, you look at the walks, you see, and then that would tell you whether you need to be a little more patient, don't chase a lot of first pitches, and let him sort of work himself into trouble, and then you try to finish him off after he creates the situation for himself.
He's given up an opponent's batting average of over 300. And he's allowed 12 home runs in 64 1/3 innings. But only 22 years of age, that is. And he throws hard. That pitch at 96. It's still 2-2 on to Jesus. Rangers' 25th round pick in 2006, but known as a draft and follow. So you would draft someone you think the next year might be a higher draft pick, draft him but don't sign him right away. So he didn't get 25th round type money. Pulls it to Kinsler, who's on the outfield grass, and throws out to Jesus. So 1 down, and we welcome in Joel Goldberg.
Well, up on top of the Hall of Fame guys, and the Royals this afternoon, all in uniform, actually took a field trip. The whole team came over and got to see the movie inside the Hall of Fame. Talked to a couple of the guys. Mark Teahan said he was really impressed because even though he had talked to Frank and George about the championship, it was easier to see it and put it all together by seeing it. Brian Pena called it a work of art in there. He said growing up in Cuba, they were never able to watch American baseball. They weren't allowed on TV, so he really felt like he was getting a history lesson. So cool to see the whole team over here today. By the way, just wanted to help out Brian Pena. He asked that we would congratulate his sister, Indira Toledo, who was married today in Miami. Guys?
Well, good news that she was married, and good news that she was married in this country, as Brian had to leave everyone behind when he defected from Cuba to Venezuela, but slowly but surely both he and Unievsky Betancourt have had family members make it to the United States. Joel, while you're standing on the roof up there, have you made any headway on the mysterious gold colored mark next to Frank White's number 20?
Yeah, see, I can't see anything unless I hop down to the next ledge, and then there's no way to get back up. Here we go. Oh, no. Okay. I was told that it is a lighting mock-up. Does that make you feel better?
Oh, okay. Well, that solves everything. Thanks, Joel.
Well, I was going to try to go with, okay, you guys guess it's the start of a new number being retired, and then we could do like a, sprint, you call it, and figure out who's not, but that's not happening. It's a lighting mock-up. So I climbed up here for that, just so that, you guys would know.
Okay. Well, the next time we check in with you, you can tell us what a lighting mock-up is.
Nah, I got to go home. I'm done for the day.
1 on 1 out for Billy Butler. Billy 0 for 4 last night, 0 for his last 7, and has only driven in 2 on the homestand. And this is game number 8 of a 9-game homestand. Two balls, no strikes. Teagarden out to chat with Holland. while they talk it over, we'll show you the Rangers on defense tonight. Marlon Byrd, Josh Hamilton, and Nelson Cruz in the outfield, with Michael Young and Omar Vizquel on the left side, Ian Kinsler and Hank Blaylock on the right side, and Teagarden getting another start as Jared Saltalamacchia is still dealing with the after effects of the flu, which has run rampant through the Rangers clubhouse. Rangers found out yesterday that the flu that Vicente Padilla had contracted was swine flu.
Well, that's enough to make you run. Well, you go to do your pregame info session with, you know, the managers, the coaches, and you don't do any handshaking. You know, you just kind of hit your fists together until you guys get better. This is how it is.
Billy walks, so 2 on, 1 out. Padilla was in the clubhouse today, which surprised several of his teammates.
Those the little fake hand deals.
Padilla was in the clubhouse and his teammates couldn't believe it, but apparently once you're on the swine flu medication for at least 24 hours, you're no longer contagious. But remember when swine flu was first discovered, and some of the news outlets had half the world hiding in their closets. Mark Teahan 1 for 4 in last night's game.
Ryan, this is what I was talking about. When you look at a high ERA and you look at the walks, you know, you sort of let the pitcher work himself into a jam, and then you try to take advantage of it. So that was a bad pitch that Mark swung it right there. So I would just be a lot more patient, make him throw more actual strikes, and let him create the situation for himself.
Holland got to Jesus to ground out, and then Bloomquist and Butler reaching with walks. Vizquel sneaking in behind Bloomquist, but no throw. Where was that pitch? 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Holland, drafted in 06, 2 years later was the Rangers minor league pitcher of the year, and the Rangers were not pitching well when the Royals were there in April, and the word was the Rangers really did not want to call him up this year. Reaching out, Teahan drives it to left and slicing on Marlon Byrd, but he runs it down. So Bloomquist back to second, Butler back to first, and back to Joel. I know one thing about lighting mock-ups, Joel.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to touch them.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. I've never been next to a lighting mock-up before. We found a ladder, came down to the next level. Here's the lighting mock-up. Here's Frank. Frank probably hasn't been by his number yet, but listen. See, I'm tapping on the big number 20. These are the fun things you get to do at Kauffman Stadium. Guys, back to you.
I mean, those numbers don't light up, do they? I mean, why would they need a lighting mock-up right there?
I have no idea.
And I mean, why would you paint it the same color as the numbers? He's trying to figure out how to get in there.
Maybe it lights up, Joel, if you climb up and stand on top of it. 1-1 on Cayaspo.
I think we need to find Kurt Nelson.
Rangers getting a home run from Michael Young in the top of the first, and the Royals hoping to avoid stranding 2 in the bottom of the first. It's 2-1. Pitcher walks 2 in an inning. You want to make him pay for that.
Well, that's why I say if you got a 6 ERA, you look at the walks and the walks are up, then you have to say, hey, he's not throwing many strikes. So even though he's got a powerful arm, you just got to make sure that you don't get yourself out. You know, let him create the situation like he has here, and then you have to take advantage of it.
Over the bag, Kinsler from the outfield grass, no play, throws back to third. Bases loaded, 2 down. So Callaspo has a 7-game hitting streak with his first inning infield single.
Well, Kinsler does a great job here, Ryan. He just makes sure this ball doesn't get to the outfield. And then he just knew that he didn't have a play at first. I'll just see if he can catch Bloomquist round in third too far.
Well, Miguel Olivo, and here's a motivated man who's lost a couple of starts on this homestand to Brian Pena and a start to John Buck. Pretty good in his career with the bases loaded, but this year 0 for 11. And he steps in here against Derek Holland, 0 for his last 12 in any situation. So 2 walks and an infield single. Ball 1. Holland with an excellent fastball, decent breaking ball, and arrived in Arlington with supposedly an excellent changeup. But the way the league has hit him, the Rangers think may have spooked him, and he's been primarily a fastball pitcher. And there's another one. It's 1 ball, 1 strike, and maybe in his young mind he figures, you know, if my ERA is a shade over 6 as it is, I'm just going to stick with my best pitch.
Well, that's the way you do it, Ryan. If you can locate that 96-mile-an-hour fastball, that's going to make his other pitches better. And if you can't locate that, then his other pitches are going to be better balls to hit for the Royals.
Olivo into center. Hamilton, long run, all the way back, brings it down at the track. The wind may have knocked down a grand slam. Potato burrito, its big bacon taste, guys can't resist. Trey Hillman shaving off the mustache. Not that baseball people are superstitious or anything like that, but mix something up as the Royals trying to snap a 10-game losing streak. It'll be Hank Blaylock, Marlon Byrd, and Nelson Cruz in the second inning. Blaylock takes a curve for a strike. Hamilton and Jones striking out on Hochevar's curveball to end the first inning. That might be his best pitch so far, and the count is 0-2. Ian Kinsler opened the game, driving one to the wall in the left field corner. David DeJesus leaping up against the wall to make the play. And then Michael Young followed with a home run over the wall. But since then, Hochevar has struck out 3 in a row, all with the curveball. This series and this homestand wraps up tomorrow. 1:10 first pitch. Royals live at 12:30. Sidney Ponson against Kevin Millwood. Tomorrow's game is in high definition. Now Marlon Byrd, who homered against Zach Greinke in last night's game. Rangers added a run late on Blaylock's RBI double, and that was it. A 2-0 Texas win. You know, Hochevar has a ways to go tonight. It's only the second inning, but seeing his growth and his maturing right before our eyes. I mean, last year gives up a couple of well-hit balls to begin the game like he did to Kinsler and Young, and it may have resulted in a long inning. It may have resulted in him nitpicking, a couple of walks, but DeJesus makes the play, Young hits a homer, and Luke just kind of shakes it off, and he has struck out the next 3 hitters.
Well, you're right, Ryan. I see a different guy completely, a lot more maturity. I see a lot more composed pitcher on the mound. You don't see the heavy breathing before the pitch. Everything is in rhythm, and I think that comes with confidence.
How about that last pitch?
Well, he's been mixing his slider and his curveball up very well, and he's been able to add to that slider and make it harder, and he's also been able to add to his curveball when he wants to also.
Oliva wanted that pitch in. It was out over the plate, but Byrd lines out to Friel. 2 up, 2 down in the second.
Well, when you look at the list of concentration right here, this one, a fastball ran in on Michael Young, and he was able to hit it in the bullpen for a home run, and then he just bounces back with his curveball. Nice drop in on the curveball there, and to me, that's a sign of maturity right there. When you come back and get over those 2 long balls and just settle down and rack up some Ks right behind it.
And with 2 outs, faces Nelson Cruz. 0 for 2, 2 walks last night. Not about laying one down. It's 1-0. Nelson Cruz starting to put it all together. This is his 4th organization, and every organization he's been with figured he'd have a year like he is right now with 23 home runs. That's the second highest total in the American League. He's driven in 54, and he just got back from his first All-Star game. And you ask, what is the difference for Nelson Cruz now compared to other years in his career? And you hear the same explanation over and over again about other guys. He's finally started to figure out what type of a player he is.
He's been one of those guys that go on AAA and just tear it up, and he comes to the big leagues and struggled a little bit. But I think one of the things is that he's just been able to mainly just keep the fastballs in the alley. Chasing that hot fastball sometimes gets him in trouble, but right now Luke's curveball is backing up on him. It's backing back into the right-handed hitter, so that's not a good sign right there. He needs to get that ball to go down and across the plate. And that's a good sign sometimes that he's trying to throw it too hard and it's slipping out on him.
Bat splintered. The splinter went towards the third base coach's box, and the ball towards the first base coach's box.
Well, this is a breaking ball here, Ryan, and it looked like he might have hit that ball up around a trademark. I mean, it's almost like the bat just split right in half, like it almost went right through the bat.
Did you see the ball? That ball had so much spin on it. It didn't have it wasn't shaped like a baseball. Watch this thing wobble. See that? You can see the skin of the ball was just kind of warped off to the side.
That's using those bats with the cup in the bottom.
4 strikeouts for Hochevar. it's Japanese Heritage Night, and it's Christmas in July. John Buck leading off the second inning. 0-1 against Derek Holland. Buck not in there last night. Ryan Pena was 0 for 3, but called a good game for Zach Greinke. 0-2. Zach has made 20 starts this year, 18 of which Miguel Olivo was behind the plate, and now 2 of the last 3 with Ryan Pena behind the plate. Ryan not in the lineup tonight. Buck is down on 3 pitches, 94 with that fastball from Holland in his first strikeout. Well, Frank and I chewed on this last night. You call it presented by Sprint, so now we'll ask you. What do you think is the most impressive accomplishment? A 40 home run season, a 100 RBI season, 200 base hits, or 100 runs scored? What would you take? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A, B, C, or D. What do you think?
For a career year, you take them all.
Well, we can ask Al Broughton, our stat ace, to find out who was the last person to do that, do all those in 1 year.
I would say the top 2, the 40 home runs and 100 RBI, would go for your number 4, number 5 hitter, number 3 hitter in terms of producing. The last 2, the 100 runs scored and 200 hits, more for your leadoff guy, second place hitter, third place hitter. So it can kind of be spread out depending on what kind of hitter you are.
All right, let's take a middle of the road type guy. Let's take a Martian. Martian could be a high average type hitter if that's all he focused on, no power, and he probably could be a home run type hitter if that's all he thought about when he went up to the plate. So a guy who can do both, who's not one type of player or the other. He's not strictly a power hitter. He's not strictly a top of the order type guy. What would you take of those 4 categories?
No power, probably the 2.
Work with me, Frank.
I'm trying hard, but it's hard when you know the types. I would say probably the 200 hits.
Okay.
I think that requires not only being able to hit, but also being able to stay healthy and put the games and get the at bat. So I would say 200 hits.
Kevin Seitzer had a 200 hit season. Ryan Friel appeared as a pinch runner last night and then finished the game on defense. 1-2 against Derek Holland. Alex Rodriguez with the Rangers in 2001 was the last to accomplish all those, as Friel hits it hard to left but into that wind, and that knocks it down enough for Marlon Byrd to run it down. Thank you, Al Broughton, for that. Royals scoreless in the second. Wathen, who is here to talk about a couple of great Royals alumni events coming up, beginning with fans batting practice. Fans can go out on the field with you and other alumni and take batting practice. What a deal.
Got my notes from the lovely Dina Wathen. September 12th at Kauffman Stadium. It is quite a deal. We've done it, what do you say, Frank, 3 or 4 times now?
I've been a part of at least 2 of them.
Yeah, September 12th, and you come out in the morning, pay $300, and we're going to have 10 Royals alumni here. Instruction, batting practice on the field. They'll get to shag some balls in the field as well as take some swings in the cage. Late breakfast in the morning, and all they have to do is call the number 504-4150 to figure it out, because there'll be somebody on the other end to tell them more than I know about it.
2-1 on Taylor Teagarden. Now, you've been a part of one of those, haven't you? The fans batting practice?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We go into cages inside. They take a few swings inside in the Royals cages behind the dugout, and then they come out in the field and take the regular batting practice on the field.
Deep third, and Tien, high throw. Did Butler apply the tag? No. Now, that's an interesting call by Jerry Crawford, because he looked directly at Billy Butler, and to me, he was trying to see if Billy hung onto the ball or not. He did, and he still signaled safe.
Well, Mark, this is a long throw. He does a good job setting himself and letting the ball go. Billy comes down the line, but it's hard to tell from that angle whether or not he made the tag or not.
From there, it looked like he missed him.
Frank never threw it like that to me when I was playing first base. They were right on the money.
That'll be an air charge to Tien, and now Vizquel, who's an excellent bunter, that's going to roll foul. That's a good point. How can Frank describe what happened on that play when he never did that?
Well, he's seen it a few times.
Oh, he's seen it all.
Just not firsthand.
Well, the guys on the right side threw low. The guys, I'm sorry, the guys on the left side threw high.
Yeah. Short.
That was it. They had longer throws, so Freddie and George, they could get it up there every now and then. Big John would always say, I don't care where you throw it, just throw it low.
He'll get it, and he did.
Vizquel bunts 2 foul. How many times do you see that happen?
I was just going to say, that's amazing. He's one of the best runners in the game.
I'm going to go back to that play. This where you play low first base, and whenever you got a high throw, you know, Billy, when he jumped, he more or less jumped to the inside rather than jumping straight up. If he goes straight up and comes straight down, now you can make that tag on the runner going by.
Yeah, depending on the angle of the ball. Sure,
right.
You bet. If you don't have to come off the back to your left or to your right, it makes it a lot easier to play.
And Vizquel down on 3 pitches, and that's 5 for Hochevar, all with the curveball. 4 out of the 5 with the curveball. So 1 down in the 3rd inning. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison, and a couple of guys who can run it up there. Luke at 94 so far, Holland at 96, and you can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. So anyway, we're talking about fans batting practice, and there's a note in there that I think is important to pass on to the fans, that there's a limit to how many people can sign up for fans batting practice, which I think is good to know, because you don't want to come out here and there's 200 guys and you're not going to get any swings. I mean, you're going to get your share of swings on the field.
I believe it's 40, Ryan. I think we're going to have 4 groups of 10. So you're going to get plenty of instruction from 10 Royals alumni out there on that Saturday morning, September 12th. Again, the telephone number, 816-504-4150 for more details.
And one of the things I liked about that was that I was part of the group that's sitting in the clubhouse, and that when they rotate around, you just kind of sit and share stories with the fans, and then let them ask the questions they want to ask, and get a little bit of Ross history in there too. So that was a lot of fun for me.
That's $300, and if you do decide to go to the batting practice session, you can take that off the fantasy camp, which segues right into what we want to talk about also.
Nice play, Betancourt. Force at second, no double play, but Betancourt saved a base runner with a dive up the middle.
Well, this is an outstanding play right here as an infielder. You just want to make sure you try to keep that ball on the infield. He does a great job here. The only thing I want to see Kyle Aspo do right here, just make sure he just takes that one throw and only think about that one play and not think about throwing the ball to first base.
So a runner at first, 2 down, and now Michael Young, who homered in the first inning, into the Rangers bullpen. Well, you usually take batting practice before the game, so come on out to fans batting practice and get you all geared up for fantasy camp.
There you go. $300 for the fans batting practice. You take that off the total price if you want to come to the Royals fantasy camp for 2010. That's going to be February 1st to 5th out in Surprise at our spring training complex, and Frank's been a part of it every year, I believe, and I have too, and it's a lot of fun. You talk about stories, what you were talking about before, Frank. We have some stories in fantasy camp after games. And at night, into the night too.
We also create some stories while we're there.
They get better every year, don't they? we get better.
That's true. Some of the best stories come from the campers themselves. And that first day, everybody's all gung ho, and they get their instructions, and we do our draft, and we get the players. First doubleheader they play, they're okay. The next day, the training room and everything smells clean. After the first game, it smells like Flexol. They really love it. They love the trainers after the first day.
Young up the middle, and that's into center field. Kinsler will go first to third. So Michael Young is 2 for 2 after losing a 6-game hitting streak last night. And 2 on for Josh Hamilton.
Talking about the Flexol, Frank, there's 2 things we go through a lot of out there. That's ice for everybody's body and beer. Again, that's February 1st through the 5th, and that's the same telephone number if they want to call for more information. 816-504-4150. Get a couple of uniforms, an autographed ball, and there's some prizes, gifts every day that they have setting up in their locker. Quite a night.
You get the awards banquet, and it's really really fun time.
We have a team dinner during the week. We have a couple of functions throughout the week in the evening as well. I think there's only one free night where the campers can go out on their own. Sometimes we never know if they're going to come back or not. They get lost sometimes in that free night.
Well, you get the full experience because when you're in the clubhouse, the Major League clubhouse staff is there, so you'll get the same treatment that the big leaguers do when they show up for spring training.
Former Kansas City Royals trainers are there. Paul McGannon, Stevie Morrow.
1-1 to Josh Hamilton, who is 0 for 18 with 11 strikeouts against the Royals this year.
You know, Ryan, one of my favorite things is to watch the campers that first day when they come into the Major League clubhouse and see their uniform with the name on the back hanging on their lockers.
Gets away from Olivo, and here's Kinsler to make it a 2-0 game. So Kinsler with his 68th run scored of the year. That's among the league leaders. And Young moving up to second base.
Well, this is an interesting pitch that Luke has broke out, the knuckle curveball. You've never seen that finger stick up on the ball on his curveball before, and that's when they really want to spike it down in the ground, but the catcher's got to be ready to block that one. Duke, just one catching question before you leave. We talk about balls in the dirt a lot. We talk about the slider versus the curveball, and we talk about the fastball that comes up a little short. What do you think is the toughest ball to block as a catcher?
Fastball, definitely, because you don't have as much time to react on a fastball. The breaking ball, you know it's going to come back at you, and so you're more used to blocking breaking balls in the dirt.
Coach Shavers strikes out at 6. The Rangers add another run. Duke, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy it.
We'll see you soon, hopefully.
All right.
2-0 Rangers. McDonald House and Children's Mercy Hospital, where the lovely Mrs. Lefevre works. So welcome to Kenny Smith enjoying the game from the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat.
I like how you operate.
Pun intended?
No,
okay.
No pun intended.
David DeJesus for the second time grounds right to Ian Kinsler. So David 0 for 2. Royals had a chance against Derek Holland in the first inning with 1 out. Holland walked Bloomquist and Butler. And with 2 down, Cayaspo with an infield single, and then Miguel Olivo blasted one to center field. But from center field to the left field foul pole, that is not the place to hit it tonight with a strong left to right wind. Hitters might get some help if they hit it right center right field. It appears the wind is knocking down anything high in the air to the left side. And that drive from Olivo, Josh Hamilton able to run it down on the warning track and near the center field wall. 0-2 to Bloomquist. One ball, 2 strikes. And Derek Holland so far kind of following along that scouting report we were talking about last inning, throwing mostly fastballs. And that one strikes out Bloomquist. Holland with his second. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Ball 1 to Billy Butler. Walked in the first inning. There's a breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. A little bit low at the fastball. Holland was first called up to pitch out of the bullpen. Rangers having a bad time in the pen after the first month of the season. Eddie Guardado, the veteran lefty, was not pitching well. Chopped to short. And now, because of injuries to the rotation, Holland is in the starting rotation and tonight has 3 scoreless innings. 2-0 Rangers. Andrew Jones fouls off the first pitch from Luke Hochaver. Luke struck him out in the first inning. Luke has struck out 6 already, 5 with a curveball. And Mike Muszlinski saying that Jones went around on that pitch. So the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Rangers getting a home run from Michael Young in the first inning. And then Ian Kinsler scoring on a wild pitch in the third. Luke with a chance at another big strikeout game. Still 0-2 on Andrew Jones. On Sunday, he struck out 9 against Tampa Bay, and that was a career high. Luke had never struck out more than 6. So he just flew by his previous career high, and he already has 6 tonight in 3 innings. It'll be Jones, Blaylock, and Bird in the 4th inning. Did he go? Yes. And Andrew Jones can't believe it. First, he couldn't believe that Mike Muszlinski said he went around. Now he can't believe that Jerry Crawford said that he went around, and that's 7 for Hochaver.
That's a pretty good pitch by Luke right here. Just watch the wrist. And so the wrist, if the wrist come forward, it's a swing, but he didn't swing at that. So speaking of strikes, we'll move to the Arby's pitch by pitch, Ryan, and this comes back in the 2nd inning against Hank Blaylock, and Luke starts him off with a curveball. Then a fastball on the outer half. Then he comes back with another curveball, and that was his 3rd consecutive strikeout.
So now he has 7 in 3 1/3 innings. Blaylock rips it into right field. So 1 for 2. 1 on, 1 out for Marlon Bird. Tonight's Toyota League leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. A week from today will be August the 1st. We'll be past the first trading deadline, and then the pennant races are really going to heat up. And here's a preview. Yankees with a 2-game lead in the East over the Red Sox, who right now are the wild card leader. Tigers 3-game lead in the Central. The Angels have already won today, so they have a 4-game lead over the Rangers. The Red Sox 2.5-game lead in the wild card in the American League is a lead over Texas. So at the moment, Texas is closer to the wild card than they are to the front of their division. Marlon Bird lined to right in the 2nd inning. Went around. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that pitch just missed inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hochaver didn't have any problems in that start against Tampa Bay with his control. Didn't have a single walk in 6 1/3, which was somewhat of a surprise, not just for him, but he had 9 days rest in between starts because of the All-Star break. That skips away from Olivo. 2nd wild pitch, charge to Hochaver, and Blaylock moves up to 2nd base.
Well, Luke is really overthrowing his slider, Ryan. He really, and this ball here is always going to bounce back to the catcher. It's not going to bounce away. It's always going to come back, and it might be one that Olivo might have been better off to try to slide over in front and just try to use his body to stop it, because it's going to come back, and if you try to backhand and hit off the heel, then you're going to get that wild pitch right there.
And into left field. So Blaylock moves up to third. Marlon Byrd 1 for 2, and runners at the corners for Nelson Cruz. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. No, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Rangers off Hochevar. Luke still without a walk. And he has struck out 7. You got Nelson Cruz swinging at a sinker in the second inning. Cruz going for it all. It's 0-1. Nelson Cruz, we mentioned last night, is playing with a fractured right ring finger. So as a right-hand batter, that's his top hand.
You know, Ryan, Luke loves to throw this slider, but he's overthrowing it a lot and it's in the dirt. So Miguel Olivo, rather than thinking about trying to catch this slider, probably get more in a blocking mode to try to block it with a runner on third base.
One and one. Well, there's going to come a time where he's going to want to throw that slider, that curveball in the dirt and try and get a strikeout, but does he think the catcher's going to be able to block it?
Well, that's going to be the thing there, that he's going, if he's going to try to bounce it and make it a chase pitch, then Miguel Olivo's got to go to a blocking mode versus a catching mode, because he have to expect this ball to be down in the dirt, and with a man on third, you don't want the ball to get by.
Almost hit Blaylock. 2-2. Fans, Bob Evans bases loaded 4-packs or the complete package. Every Friday and Sunday game, you'll get 4 Royals tickets. Each has $10 towards anything you want in the stadium, all for just $60. Broken bat and tee into second base, and that's all. The Rangers get their 3rd run. So he didn't hit it hard enough for a double play. Cruz drives in his 55th.
Well, it's a broken bat on a breaking ball, and Martin does a great job just making sure he got 1 at second base, but wasn't good enough to get 2.
So Young and Cruz have driven in runs. The other run coming home on a wild pitch, and that may have stung Nelson Cruz's broken finger we were just talking about. And the hands will sting whether you have a broken finger or not when you hit one off the end of the bat, but especially when you have a broken finger like Cruz does, and he's kind of flexing that right hand. You're vibrating a broken bone.
Well, it's that top hand, and it's those 2 middle fingers that really get it when you hit it off the end of the bat.
Teagarden reached on an error by Tien in the 3rd inning. And now Cruz is running. Olivo, good pitch to throw on, but he sails it high. And even with the broken finger, Cruz is still sliding in head first. That's his 16th stolen base of the year.
Well, he had a great jump. A great jump on Hochevar. Hochevar went with the high leg kick, and you see where he's at when he comes into the picture. Before Miguel Olivo can raise his arm, you can already see him in the picture. So he had an outstanding jump on Hochevar.
It's 1-2 on Teagarden, who's batting just .207. And a curveball got him looking. Lucas struck out 8, gives up another run. It's 3-0 Texas. You'll enjoy 80s trivia and costume contest. You'll dance to tunes by 80s cover band The Zeros and get a special ticket offer if you're spotted wearing a fanny pack. Tonight the fans are celebrating Christmas in July. Teeing into the left field corner, Marlon Byrd makes a nice play to get to the ball and almost threw out Teeing. Even though he didn't get Teeing, that's an impressive play to slide like he did. No time to find his target and still got it to the bag.
Well, Mark does a good job tracking this ball and staying behind it to hit it down the left field line. Byrd does a great job, like you said, Ryan. He gets up and lets it go. Kinsler tries to pretend the ball's not coming, but with the ball right in front of Teeing, he could see that all the way. So that was one of those dekes that probably wouldn't have been a good deke.
Aspo trying to hit it to the right side. It's just foul off the line. Alberto infield single in the first inning as a 7-game hitting streak.
Just watching Ian Kinsler make that move. George Brett used to do that all the time on first and third plays, potential triple plays. He just stand there like the ball's not coming, so he doesn't give anything away, then make that move at the last minute. It worked quite a few times. The whole idea being that the runner just started to break it down a little bit before he gets to the bag, and they just catch him sometimes before they even slide because they want to stand up.
Of course, that's with the ball behind you. You don't know where the ball is.
Right. The ball's always got to be behind you for that to work.
Teeing with his 23rd double. Aspo last night hit his 25th double. That came in the 9th inning with 2 outs, and Royals, I think next time would prefer that Alberto hold with a single on that play.
Yeah, that was a little bit too close to call right there. I mean, that would have been tough to end the game down by 2 on that particular play. So you got to know when to push the envelope and when to pull back.
Cruz didn't see it right away, so Hamilton comes over from center, and that's not deep enough to advance the runner. So Teeing at second base, 1 down. Pretty good play there by Hamilton, identifying right away that his teammate did not see the ball. know, he's a big, strong guy, and we talked about his 130 RBIs last year, but he moves around very well. I mean, he's not a big guy that is playing center field because the Rangers have no other options. I mean, he's a pretty good center fielder.
He's a real good center fielder, Ryan. He covers a lot of ground, and I talked to Ron Washington about him. He says he's a smart heads-up player and knows how to position himself for the different hitters that come up. You know, the Royals continue to struggle in the fundamental phase of the game offensively. You know, just man on second, nobody out, just advancing the runner. So I think that the hitter's going to have to be a little more creative in that situation. Guys like Caspo, I know you pointed out a number of times that he has no sacrifice bunch, but this is a time where you can push the ball to first base. It doesn't go against your average. It actually helps you because you help your ball club. But to continue to fail in these situations gets to be more frustrating, not only for the manager Trey Hillman, but for the whole staff in general.
You know, the debate is, well, you know, do you play for 1 run? You're down by 3. I would say, and especially what the Royals are going through right now, yes. I mean, take what you can get. Sure, maybe laying down a bunt at this point, this early in the game, isn't the best play, but at the same time, don't give up a run if you can get a run.
Well, I think you still have to play the game. It's still early enough in the game to do that. Once you get past the 5th inning, you might not want to do it, but before the 5th inning, you have to try to get as many, I won't say free runs on the board, but you want to try to capitalize on every opportunity to score that you can without the benefit of getting the base hit, and that would be 1 man on second. Then he's on third with 1 out, and hopefully you can get something going from there.
How about that guy? So much for your theory about getting out of the way of a foul ball.
Well, he doesn't know any better. That's like being a fighter. Everybody wants to be a fighter until they get hit. So he hasn't been hit yet.
Now, he's my favorite guy so far this year. You know why? He caught the ball, he set it down, he finished his hamburger. He didn't go on and on about what a great catch he made and look at me. Caught the ball, went back to eat. 3 strikeouts for Holland, and Tien still standing at second base, and now 2 down. Like he never caught the ball in the first place. You know what they say about guys who celebrate in the end zone after scoring a touchdown? You know, the young guys, they go crazy, and the veterans will say, hey, act like you've been here before. You know, make it such a big deal. I mean, there's a guy who act like he's been there before. Just caught another foul ball. Big deal.
Well, he probably saved the person behind him by catching that ball.
You don't think she would have made the play?
Oh, boy. I think the worst thing could do would hit a beer.
0-2 to John Buck. Struck out in the second inning.
See, watch where this ball goes, Ryan. Oh, she is not going to make this play.
Oh, she's got her hands up. Are you kidding me? Look at that.
She's the happiest person in the stadium right now.
She's thinking, that punk in front of me caught my foul ball. Didn't even call for it. Ball hog. 1-2 on Buck.
I think she looks like she was fearing for her life.
Tien with a leadoff double, but Callaspo flying out to shallow center. Olivo striking out. And Buck just nicked it. It's still 1-2. There might come a point, and we're far enough into the season now, this is game number 96, where Trey Hillman might just start taking the bat out of guys' hands and saying, we've been trying this for 90-plus games to get the runners over. We're not getting it done. You're bunting.
Well, I mean, that's an option, and it would be a good option, because then it would at least force the guys to start thinking about the situation more and recognizing that there's more than one way to get the job accomplished. So that wouldn't be a big surprise to me if he was to do something like that.
Buck into left center, so he comes through with 2 outs. Otean scores. It's a 3-1 game.
That's a big base hit by John. He had a breaking ball coming down into his bat, and he was able to hit a line drive over shortstop in the left center field. You know, it is a little playing time as he's got, and that's got to feel pretty good, because when you're not playing, your timing is off, and you can walk away with a base hit after not playing for a while and driving in a run with it. That's a huge deal for a guy that doesn't play a lot.
Vizquel loves the bare hand play. Got it. Here comes Trey Hillman again. Both teams have been at odds with Jerry Crawford. Foot on bag, ball not quite in glove. Royals get a run in the 4th. Blaylock. Vizquel making a good play with the bare hand. But Betancourt appeared to be safe, and Trey out there arguing for a long time with the crew chief Jerry Crawford. And part of the frustration, the call, I'm sure, well, there he goes. The call by Jerry Crawford, and part of the frustration, I'm sure, the Royals' inability to score runs in a familiar scenario. Even though the Royals got the run, they did it the hard way with the 2-out RBI from John Buck, but runner at second base, and it took 2 outs until the Royals could advance a runner.
Well, Ryan, I think that adds to Trey Hillman's frustration. I mean, the team's not scoring runs. You know, if you start executing a little bit better offensively, it will make that process a lot easier. And then it doesn't help when you finally get something going and you get a call at first base that you don't agree with. So it's almost like everything is going against the Royals at this particular time. So I can definitely understand the frustration that Trey Hillman is feeling with his offense right now.
Vizquel struck out in the 3rd inning. Didn't get a couple of bunts down. He is one of the best bunters in baseball. But fouled 2 off, and then Luke struck him out with a curve. Hochevar has struck out 8 already. 1 shy of his career high, which he established on Sunday against Tampa Bay. Still hasn't walked anyone. And you can make it 22 1/3 innings for Hochevar, and only 3 walks in that stretch. Jesus coming up and left gets Vizquel. He's 0 for 2. There's Hochevar's pitch count, brought to you by James B. Nutter and Company. 73, and a very good strike to ball ratio, much better than 2-1. He has given up runs in the 1st inning on a Michael Young home run, in the 3rd a wild pitch, And in the fourth, Nelson Cruz reaching on a fielder's choice that scored Blaylock. Teeing right at the bag. And Kinsler got him. Billy keeps his foot on the bag. Kinsler 0 for 3.
By Martin, no matter where you put him, Ryan, he seems to come up with the play, and this is a great play right here to just slide to the line, get up, make a nice strong throw to first. Billy does a great job of staying on the bag on that play.
So 2 down to Michael Young. Now Billy did a good job of keeping his foot on the bag, but almost seemed awkward. Is there something he could have done to make it easier on himself to keep his foot on the bag?
Yeah, he could have stretched straight up rather than straight out and up. When you go straight out and up, you cut your range down on the height of the ball, but you also risk pulling your foot off the bag. So when the ball's going to go up, just use the bag and push straight up, and that keeps you right in line with the throw. The play earlier, when you go to jump, you jump straight up, and then you come down beside the bag, and it makes that tag in the runner when he goes by a lot easier rather than jumping out to the ball. You just let the ball travel. You go straight up, stay in the line, just inside the line. You catch the ball and let the runner run by, and you make the tag.
Loop to shallow right center, and Michael Young is 3 for 3. So if I'm hearing you right, if the throw is up, you want your first motion to be up and then maybe go out, but you don't want to go out first and then try and adjust going up.
Right. You don't. Once you go up, you just want to go up. You don't want to go out at all. And I think we can think back to that earlier play when Billy had the chance to tag the runner going by. He jumped up, but he jumped out rather than jumping straight up. And if you jump straight up, it brings you back down and just inside the bag, and you make the tag. And on that play, it was a high throw. So you don't want to stretch forward on a high throw. You want to go up and meet the high throw right at the bag, but stay inside the bag.
Ball 1 on Josh Hamilton. 2 strikeouts against Hochevar, both on the curveball, both swinging. Olivo got his glove on it and somehow was able to flick it in front of him.
Well, oh man, that thing just took off. It just kept going up on Olivo.
My goodness, have the Royals pitched Josh Hamilton well this year. He is 0 for 19 with 12 strikeouts against the Royals. Three and 0. And it really has been the breaking ball that has carved up Hamilton. Greinke last night, and then Greinke and Mesh when the Royals were in Texas and in April. He is in the middle of a 2 for 27 stretch, which has his average down to 230. And he goes after a 3-0 pitch, a slider down and in. Now that's a struggling hitter right there. Green light on 3-0, and he takes a half swing.
Well, that's what you call just guessing wrong and not being able to hold up when it's not the pitch you're looking for. You're looking for a fastball down the middle, 3-0, and you should never chase a ball like that, right?
Pretty good call by Olivo and Hochevar, though, to not just lay one in there on him on 3-0.
Well, the thing, if you're going to do it 3-0, you might as well do it 3-1.
And there you go, full count.
I think last year he's just centered so many fastballs and just had such a great year that I think the breaking ball probably was the pitch that he had most trouble with last year. So now he's going to have to prove to pitchers that he can wait and stay back and hit the breaking ball.
Strikes out again. That's 3 against Hochevar, and Luke has tied his career high with 9. and by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Royals on the board in the 4th inning. John Buck with 2 outs, driving in Mark Teahen. And now Ryan Friel deep into left and off the bottom of the wall. The Royals are going to have their 2nd straight leadoff double.
That's a good job of hitting, Ryan. He gets a 92-mile-an-hour fastball down and in, and he was able to get the bat head down and keep the ball fair. And this sort of follows his last at bat when he took Marlon Byrd all the way to the wall. And that ball was caught, but this one hit the base of the wall, and he was able to get in the second base easily with a double.
Now the Royals got to run the hard way in the 4th. Buck with a 2-out RBI. Now you'd like to see him do it a little easier in this inning, as De Jesus takes a curveball for a strike. David would like to get a base hit, but the Royals would take what he's done in his first 2 at-bats, hitting ground balls to second base. One ball, 1 strike. David mad at himself after taking that pitch that he was even thinking about swinging at it. You can add about 30 points. 34 points to be exact to his average with runners in scoring position. Teahen doubled leading off the 4th inning, but Callaspo flied out too shallow for Teahen to tag in advance. Then Olivo struck out. John Buck coming through and his single getting Teahen to the plate. Two and 1.
This is one of those situations, Ryan, where they know what David's trying to do right here. They know he wants to pull the ball, but Derek Holland's trying to keep the ball hard on the outside corner. So if he's not going to give anything to pull, then it's always a good time that you can just drop a bunt and execute the situation, and you've done your job.
Over Blaylock and down into the corner. Well, De Jesus and Friel will trade places. David keeping an eye on third base coach Dave Owen, who had the stop sign up. Back-to-back doubles, and it's a 1-run game.
He just tried to sneak a fastball after stand away, tried to sneak a fastball in on David, and he was able to pull his hands in and hit the ball down in the corner. And that's executing the situation, getting the RBI and the base hit. And Ryan Friel scores very easily on this play.
And now Bloomquist will try and get something to the right side and get the tying run to third. He may lay one down. Nope, swinging away, ball 1. Bloomquist has walked and struck out. Big bounce, and Blaylock right on the line goes to the bag. So Bloomquist gets it done, and now tying run at third base, 1 out. And up comes Billy Butler. Christmas in July. Slugger has the spirit. His slugger-sized Santa cap. Careful. And now the Rangers are going to bring the infield in for Billy Butler, who has walked and grounded out to short. Ball 1 outside. Billy now 0 for his last 8 after grounding out to short in the 3rd inning. He has driven in only 2 runs on this homestand. 2-0. Three and 0. And the Rangers have activity in the bullpen. That's Jason Grilli, who was acquired from the Colorado Rockies last month. Grilli swinging on 3-0. Drives it to deep right. Back goes Cruz. Royals have the lead. That's Billy's second home run of this homestand, and both coming on a 3-0 pitch. Game one of the doubleheader on Tuesday. Hit a 3-0 pitch. That was a 2-run home run, and that gave the Royals a lead.
Well, Billy, when you stay out there with that fastball out over the plate, that's where he likes to hit the fastball, right? And he got it out there. And after watching 3 pitches in the same quadrant, here comes the 4th one, and that one goes out of the ballpark. He does just a great job keeping his head down and getting through that ball and just staying. Didn't try to pull off on it and hit it just like it was pitched. Outstanding job.
And now 0-1 to Tien, who has doubled to left, lined to left, and scored a run. So 10 home runs, 42 driven in for Butler. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tien.
Yeah, Billy this time last year, Ryan, had 4 home runs.
He went around. Well, he's starting to pile up the extra base hits, double digits in home runs. 29 doubles, which is the 4th highest total in the American League. It's 2-2 on Tien. Batting average right around 290. Trey Hillman getting ejected after the bottom of the 4th inning may have fired up the Royals. Luke Hochevar in the top of the 5th, a scoreless inning, and now the Royals with 3 in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, at this point, he's saying whatever it takes, you know. Just, and I think that it's just creating a sense of urgency for his offense, and knowing that, you know, you can only swing the bats like they've been swinging the bats so long before that 18 and 11 team shows up again. That when you come out of spring training like they did and get off to a start that they got off to, no one would have imagined that they would have turned it around and going backwards like they did. So just the frustration of it builds up on everybody when you as a staff guy, you putting more time in, you putting more hours in, and you giving the information. But the game comes back to the players at some point, and they've got to create a sense of urgency among themselves and take some leadership, take some pride, and come out and turn this thing around.
There's a difference between wanting to get it done and doing whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah, that old saying, it just takes a little bit more to be a champion.
Tien down on strikes. That's Holland's 4th. And 2 down in the 5th inning. Well, the Frank White replica Hall of Fame figurine will go home with the first 20,000 fans at the game between the Royals and the A's on Saturday, August the 8th. Game time 6:10. But the gates will open at 3 o'clock, so come out early to get part 3 of the 4-piece collectible set. Callaspo up the middle, past Vizquel, and Alberto has his 2nd hit. He is absolutely worn out left-hand pitching this year. And now Ron Washington says that's enough, as Holland has given up 4 runs, 7 hits, and will leave with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Jason Grilli on to take on Miguel Olivo. Call It, presented by Sprint. Asking you, what do you think the most impressive offensive accomplishment is? 47% agreeing with Frank and me. 200 hits, followed by 40 home runs, 100 RBIs. Only 3% saying 100 runs scored.
That's usually that leadoff guy that has 100. He might have 200 hits and 100 runs scored, but not the 40 home runs and the other things that go with it. I tell you, those are some impressive numbers. I mean, for A-Rod to get numbers like that, my goodness.
Yeah, we tried to figure out when was the last time someone accomplished all of those numbers in one year. Alex Rodriguez in 01 when he was with the Rangers, and the year before that Todd Helton did it with the Rockies.
Can you imagine how much fun that had to have been?
How about this year for Rodriguez in 01? 52 home runs, 201 hits, 134 RBIs, 133 runs scored. And he put up some monster numbers when he was with Texas, but it did absolutely nothing in regard to wins and losses. The numbers went up, but attendance and the Rangers' place in the American League West went down. Callaspo a 2-hit game. Olivo is flied out to deep center and struck out. 2 balls, 1 strike. A little bit outside, 3-1. Olivo has only faced Grilli once. Grilli struck him out. Jason Grilli began the year with the Rockies, had an ERA over 6, traded to the Rangers, and has an ERA of 1.3. Full count. The National League against Jason Grilli was hitting .345. Now that he's back in the American League, the AL is hitting just .159 against him in 13 games. And ball 4 to Olivo. So Miguel walking for just his 7th time this year. And 2 on, 2 out for John Buck. Buck with 2 outs last inning scored Tien from second base after the Royals couldn't get Tien over to third and get him home with less than 2 outs. Chased a bad one. It's 0-1. Rangers had an early 3-0 lead after getting runs in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th inning against Hochevar. The Royals with 1 in the 4th. DeJesus has driven in a run with a double in this inning, and Billy Butler has a 2-run home run.
Ryan, we were talking about some impressive numbers and how much fun a guy was having. Check these numbers out on Willie Wilson in 1980. 230 hits, 131 from the left side, 99 from the right side, and 130 runs scored.
That's a pretty good year. I thought he had a year when he had 100 hits from both sides of the plate.
Well, I thought they might have been 80, but only 99.
That's still pretty impressive to have that many hits from both sides. 1 and 2 on Buck. Still hasn't swung at a strike yet. This has been a strength for the Rangers lately, their bullpen. It was a terrible weakness early in the year. Buck is down, so are the Royals, but they bat 8. They come up with 3. DeJesus drives in 1. Butler drives in 2 with this home run. has had a good day at the plate and in the field, making this play against the first batter of the game, Ian Kinsler, taking an extra base hit away. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Now Hochevar back to work, and Andrew Jones fouls the first pitch away. Luke has given up a solo home run to Michael Young. In the third inning, a Hochevar wild pitch allowed Ian Kinsler to score. And in the fourth inning, Nelson Cruz, an RBI fielder's choice. It's 0-2 to Jones. Hochevar has struck out 9 in 5 innings, tying a career high, which he first set on Sunday against Tampa Bay, but that was over 6 1/3. It's 1-2 on Jones, who has struck out twice.
Well, Luke has really been throwing his breaking ball well, especially Andrew Jones. He's been chasing it down and away and just not giving in with that fastball.
Luke has not walked anyone. He only has walked 3 in his last 25 1/3 innings. A new career high, 10 strikeouts for Luke Hochevar, and that's back-to-back games now that the Royals starter has struck out 10 Texas Rangers.
He's just throwing a real good mixed bag of breaking balls, and here with Andrew Jones, he just started the curveball. He's throwing a hard slider, and even throwing his curveball even harder when he has to. So Miguel Olivo's had to do a great job of staying with that ball down in the dirt, calling a lot of breaking balls like that. But he just done a great job mixing up all those breaking balls. Never the same breaking ball twice.
1-1 to Blaylock. Struck out in the second inning, singled and scored in the fourth. Make it 3 walks for Hochevar in his last 23 2/3 innings. I said 25, but either way, a pitcher who last year struggled with his control, not just with the walks, but falling behind hitters. He's making it a lot more difficult to reach.
You know, he always seemed like he was in a rush last year. You know, just everything had to be in a hurry. Now he just takes his time. He gathers himself. He comes back. You don't see the big breath before every pitch. And so he just seems like a much more relaxed pitcher. And I think that comes with confidence of winning a few games and getting through some tough spots and pitching out of some tough spots and realize that the world's not going to always fall in on me if I get a couple men on base. And the runners get on base, and there was something about being able to control the running game and still be able to make your pitches. And so he's starting to balance it all out. And you can see it, like you said, in the top of the game. It just seems like his composure and everything's coming together.
Make it 11 strikeouts.
And Miguel wants it down and away, and he hit the mitt just exactly where Miguel Olivo wants. And like you said, Ryan, he's growing right before your eyes.
Yeah. You know, you bring up a good point. I mean, there were times last year where you really wondered, is he spending more energy with his pitches or what he does in between pitches with all the huffing and puffing and all the energy spent on the outside and on the inside? But not tonight. A new career high with 11 strikeouts, and he has a 1-run lead to the bottom of the 6th.
and you will win $900. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, and you will win 25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Yuniesky Betancourt followed by Ryan Friel, and then the top of the order David DeJesus against Jason Grilli. Recorded the final out of the Royals 3-run 5th inning. The Royals get 4 runs, 7 hits off of Derek Holland in 4 2/3. Betancourt is lined out to right and grounded out to short on a barehanded play by Omar Vizquel. Now to Michael Young, who was playing in, and Betancourt is 0 for 3. Well, it's almost back to school time, and the Royals are giving the first 10,000 kids 14 and under a Royals chest protector backpack on Sunday, August the 9th. So when you're shopping, if you end up with extra supplies, donate them to the Royals Wives Back to School Drive. That's Thursday and Friday, August 6th and 7th at gates B and C before the games. A Royals chest protector backpack.
A chest protector that goes on your back.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a chest protector chest pack?
Well, it's not supposed to protect your chest. It's just a chest protector, but it's the backpack, so it goes on your back. So you have a back chest protector.
What? Friel lays down a bunt. Pretty good one. Grilli on it quickly, and a nice play by Blaylock. Nothing Ryan Friel did wrong there. That was just a fine play by Grilli getting to the ball, unloading the throw, and Blaylock saving a throw from going into right field.
Right, Ryan. This looks like a real good bunt. You know, when it first came up, it really bounced off the mound, and Blaylock being an ex-third baseman, he's used to that short hop. He was able to pick it up. So I thoroughly confused you. That's good.
Oh man,
that's not easy to do.
Sure it is.
No, yeah, it was a chest protector backpack.
This isn't getting any easier. This is getting more confusing.
As long as I understand it, it's good.
1-1 on David. 2 ground balls to second, and then right in the middle of the Royals 3-run 5th. A double that scored Friel, and then he scored on Butler's home run. Two and one. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ron Mayhay is just now getting on the mound and starting to loosen up. But with 2 outs and nobody on base, that is not loosening up to come out for the top of the 7th. As Luke Hochevar is throwing well. He's in the mid-90s with his pitches, but Mayhay getting loose just in case Luke gets into trouble at some point in the 7th inning. David is down on strikes. Grilli is struck out 2. Royals down in order. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Royals by 1, 7th inning. Good start for Luke Hochevar, who has a new career high with 11 strikeouts. It'll be Nelson Cruz, Taylor Teagarden, and Omar Vizquel in the 7th inning. 1-1 on Cruz, who has driven in a run with a fielder's choice. He has also struck out. Well, with all the strikeouts, it's kind of tough to evaluate, is Luke being a fly ball pitcher tonight or a ground ball pitcher? He has the ability to be both. 2-2 on Cruz. Ideally, the Royals would like to see him use that sinking fastball and get a lot of ground balls, keep the defense involved, short counts, maybe 3 pitches or less. Cruz going for it all. It's still 2-2. But he is right at 100 pitches. And by my count, 3 fly ball outs, 4 on the ground, and 11 strikeouts.
That's pretty good balance. I would venture to say he's probably throwing more breaking balls today than sinkers, than fastballs.
So 4 on the ground, 3 in the air, 11 strikeouts. Twelve strikeouts. 2 starts ago, Luke Hochevar's career high for strikeouts was 6. Now he has 9 and 12 in his last 2 starts. Now, take nothing away from what Luke has accomplished, but remember, the 2 teams he has faced in his last 2 starts have struck out the most of any teams in the American League. The Tampa Bay Rays, the 2nd most, and the Texas Rangers, the most.
So that would make Luke a very smart pitcher. I mean, he's doing against the teams what he's supposed to do. If you're a high strikeout team, then if you're throwing strikes and mixing it up, then you should have a high strike count.
The Rangers also hit a ton of home runs, and they've homered tonight, but just a harmless solo home run back in the 1st inning. And the Rangers with just 5 hits now in 6 1/3 innings. So Luke still with an impressive stretch of innings with very few walks. And now over the course of his season, he's given up fewer hits than innings pitched. Butler all the way over to the camera bay. Got it. He had another step to work with, but still made the play. 2 down in the 7th. Good thing Phil got out of the way. That is a hometown cameraman there. Phil could have gotten a great shot of Billy Butler coming in, right, Phil? But you knew to get that lens out of the way.
He didn't want the camera to tip over on him.
Same with John Sleezer. That's the gentleman in the glasses and the gentleman who is responsible for some of the great shots you see in the Kansas City Star. But he got out of the way. 0-1 now, and Omar Vizquel. Joe Goldberg.
Well, if you grow up in Venezuela, as Alberto Callaspo did, you're probably a big fan of Omar Vizquel. Talked to him about it today. I said, how big of a fan were you growing up? He kind of laughed at me because it's sort of an obvious question. He said a lot. He was my favorite growing up. He used to watch the Indians just to see Vizquel, and he said back in 2006 he met him for the first time when the Giants were playing the Diamondbacks. He said he was pretty nervous that day, guys.
1-2 on Vizquel. Still hard to believe he's 42 years old. I mean, he plays with such a youthful exuberance that goes back to his days with Seattle and then Cleveland. Played with the Giants for a few years. He is the oldest player in the major leagues, position player in the major leagues. Jamie Moyer is 57.
Well, yeah, he's been around a while. but he made that barehand play early in the game like he's always. I mean, that's a play that I've never seen him try that play and bobble the ball.
Chris Bosio threw a no-hitter with the Seattle Mariners. I don't remember the year. I want to say it was the mid-90s. The final out of the game, you talk about guts. Omar Vizquel comes in from shortstop on a pretty routine play, snags it out of the air with his bare hand and throws the runner out. That ended the no-hitter. Luke Ochever has struck out 13 Rangers in 7 innings. That's the end of the Yankees' 8-game winning streak. Tampa Bay over Toronto in extra innings. Rays coming back after being down 8-0. Tigers swept the White Sox in a doubleheader yesterday. Win again today. So that's a 3-game lead over Chicago in the Central. Angels beating up on Minnesota. They fall to 5 games back. And the Angels with a 4-game lead now over the Rangers. Cleveland beating Seattle 10-3, and Boston with a chance to pick up a game on New York in the East. They can hang on, they'd be a game and a half back. Willie Bloomquist, fair inside the line. So for the 3rd time in the last 4 innings, the Royals open the inning with a double. Willie is 1 for 3.
Willie's been really working hard, Ryan, trying to stay behind the ball, try to hit the ball the other way. He got a base hit last night right on the line down the right field line, and there he's got another one just inside the bag. So he's really done a good job just trying to take what the pitcher gives him.
Tien doubled leading off the 4th. He scored. Friel doubled leading off the 5th. He scored. Jason Jennings now pitching for the Rangers. He is the 3rd Texas pitcher today. Royals scored their 4 runs against starter Derek Holland in 4 2/3. Jason Grilli an inning and a 1/3. And now Jennings. It's 1-1 to Butler, who homered on a 3-0 pitch. Twice this homestand he's homered on a 3-0 pitch. And both of those home runs put the Royals in front, turning a 1-run deficit into a 1-run lead. Slices that one to right. Cruz the catch. He has a good arm, and Willie just beats the throw. So productive out. The Royals have a runner at 3rd with 1 away.
Billy did a great job hitting the ball to right field here, and Bloomquist's going to tag at second base. Cruz has a great arm, and in this case, he can air it all out, and he was off just a little bit, but Willie did a great job hustling to get to third base on that fly ball.
Rangers will bring the infield in with Bloomquist at third, one out, and Teen at the plate, and that should get him home. Hamilton getting behind it, unloading the throw, and it's late. 2-run lead.
I've been waiting a long time to see this, Ryan. He had playing situational baseball. Bloomquist doubles. Billy gets him to third base on a sac fly, on a fly ball, and then here Mark Tien comes right back with a sac fly to center field. That's just textbook baseball right there.
Look who's warming up for the 8th inning. Joakim Soria. Luke Hochevar has 112 innings, and Trey Hillman has been very careful with Joakim Soria's arm. Joakim Soria went to the manager and said, I want to stop the bleeding. And Trey has basically gone on how Soria has felt, trusting Soria and how his arm feels. And Soria hasn't gotten a lot of work lately because the Royals can't get to him in the 9th, but he wants to try and pitch 2 innings tonight. As that ball goes off of Cruz's glove, and Cayaspo will be at second base. Depending on the ruling, that could be Alberto's 3rd hit of the game.
Yeah, Cruz looked like he had trouble with this ball right from the start, Ryan. He broke a couple different directions. Casper really got inside this ball, and the ball was kind of going away from him, but he got there in pretty good shape to catch it, but it hit off the bottom of the glove.
They're going to call it a double, so a 3-hit game for Cayaspo. And now Miguel Olivo. So Trey Hillman trusting Joakim Soria, and he is ready to come in the 8th inning. Miguel Olivo 0 for his last 14. He has flied out, struck out, and walked. Into left field, and that's deep. Back goes Bird all the way back, and it's over his glove. And the Royals have taken a 3-run lead in the 7th inning.
Miguel Olivo threatened for a grand slam early in the game here. He drives the ball over the head of Marlon Bird in left field. Just off the wall, Caspo scores on the double. Just didn't quite get back there in time to make that catch.
Another nice crowd here tonight. Great catch by a fan in the first row of the upper deck. And the fans hanging in with the Royals during this difficult stretch, trying to snap a 10-game losing streak tonight. And I think when Soria comes out of that bullpen for the top of the 8th inning, this place might explode. It's 0-2 on Buck. 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI single. Royals have hit 3 doubles in this inning. And they have 6 doubles in the game. Royals have 6 doubles, a home run, and a couple of singles. And now Buck into left center field. That's going to hang up for Marlon Byrd, and the inning is over. So the 8th inning is here. Luke Hochevar with a chance to win his 6th game, and here comes the Mexicutioner. Coming on for Billy Butler, with Bloomquist starting in center, moving over to first, and Joakim Soria, for the first time in his career, going for a 6-out save. By the way, they have changed the scoring on the Callaspo double. It is now an air charge to Nelson Cruz. So Luke Hochevar with 112 pitches and a career high 13 strikeouts. That's one shy of a Royals record. Brett Saberhagen had a 14 strikeout game, and the catcher was Jamie Quirk. Make that Mark Gubiza, and the catcher was Jamie Quirk. Top of the order for the Rangers, Kinsler, Young, and Hamilton. And it's 0-2 on Kinsler. He is 0 for 3. Joel.
Yeah, Jamie's sitting right next to me. He was. I didn't need to look anything up. He just said, "You know what the record is? It's 14." Well, how come? Because I caught it. It was Mark Gubiza outdueling Bert Blyleven on that day. Both throwing complete games as the Royals won it 4-1, August 27th, 1988. Jamie, it was all you, wasn't it?
All me. Called every one of those pitchers.
See? There it is.
You know, to go along with the 13 strikeouts, no walks. So Hochevar in his last 2 starts, 13 and a third innings, no walks, and 22 strikeouts. So back in 1988, Mark Gubiza and Jamie Quirk helping put together 14 strikeouts. Now this is what you don't want with Soria trying to get 6 outs. Long at bats. He got 2 quick strikes on Ian Kinsler, who has fouled 2 away. But this is Soria going to the manager and saying, I appreciate you caring for my arm the way you do. And remember, Soria has a long-term contract. So this is not something the Royals want to deal with next year or the year after that. As Kinsler lifts it to left, DeJesus is there, and 1 away. And now Michael Young, who has a 3-hit game. So best case scenario for Soria and the Royals, a lot of quick counts.
That's the one thing you look at with him is he does throw strikes, and you just hope he doesn't have a ton of foul balls in the process to take his pitch count up. But I think what he's doing right now, Ryan, is he's pretty much saying, hey, I'm embarrassed. You know, I'm embarrassed by the way things are going, and I'm the one that's sitting down. I'm being protected, and I'm not in the mix with the guys trying to turn this thing around. And I think this is what he wants to do. He wants to put himself in the mix.
Ryan Friel started back, now circles around and makes a catch. So Michael Young is out for the first time. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by Panera Bread. Explore a menu full of hearty soups, hand-tossed salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Now he faces Josh Hamilton, who has struck out all 3 times tonight. And that makes him 0 for 20 with 13 strikeouts against the Royals. Soria, by the way, right now at 9 pitches. Two and 0. Hamilton was ahead 3-0 back in the 5th inning, and Hochevar came back and struck him out. And the key pitch was Hamilton on a 3-0 pitch, swinging at a slider that was down by his feet.
Well, Host just gave him a steady diet of different types of breaking balls, and he couldn't really get on one. The slider was hard down by his back leg. Then he threw the slow curve ball, then the hard curve ball, and he just it just frustrated swings in the end. And you could tell that he just couldn't figure any of those pitches out.
Full count.
You know, he almost appears to be right in the middle. You know, too quick for the breaking ball and too slow for the fastball. And that, for a hitter, that's just a dangerous place to be.
Walking. That's the first time the Rangers have walked tonight against the Royals.
This is a tough pitch to take, Ryan, in this situation, but at the same time, you can tell he's looking for something in down underneath his swing, and it was just fortunate this pitch was off the plate.
Andrew Jones has also struck out 3 times. So 6 of Hochevar's 13 strikeouts coming against Hamilton and Jones, the Rangers' number 3 and number 4 hitters. 2-0. Now it's a 16 pitch inning for Soria. The Kansas City Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Two and 1 on Andrew Jones. Soria got Kinsler on a fly out to left, Young on a fly out to right, and then walked Hamilton. Great pitch on the outside, 2-2. Full count. And the next pitch from Soria will be his 20th of this inning.
And that's about 5 pitches over right at this point. But Andrew Jones had chased that breaking ball all day, and I think I would just stay with the breaking ball here and try to get him a chase and add to another strikeout.
Hamilton runs, and that's driven into center, but playable for Meyer. So Soria halfway home, going for his first 6-out save. Royals lead by 3 to the bottom of the 8th. Baseball at your fingertips. You'll get play-by-play from game day, real-time box scores, video highlights, and even live game day audio. Visit Royals.com today on your iPhone or iPod Touch to download At Bat 2009. Willie Ayer is the Rangers' new pitcher, and he'll get Betancourt, Friel, and DeJesus in the bottom of the 8th inning. Royals getting 4 against Derek Holland and 1 in the 7th inning against Jennings. Betancourt tonight 0 for 3. Grounded out twice, lined out to right field. This game, if the Royals can hang on, is really a reversal of what we've seen throughout this homestand. It's been the Royals taking the lead early on, the offense kind of drying up, and we know all about the bullpen's problems, specifically in the 8th inning. But tonight, it was the Rangers out to a 3-0 lead, and they haven't scored since the 4th inning, as the Royals have come up with 6. 1 in the 4th. The big inning was a 3-run 5th. And the Royals getting 2 in the 7th inning. One and 2 on Betancourt. Nelson Cruz, who was charged with an error last inning, retires Betancourt, 1 down in the 8th. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White, Joe Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium. Royals 3 outs away on defense from ending a long losing streak as Friel Takes inside, 1 out of 3 tonight, doubled leading off the 5th inning and scored, and that got the Royals going in their biggest inning tonight at 3-run 5th. With the Jesus and Butler driving in runs. Butler a 2-run home run. 2-0. Two and two. Willie Air, the younger brother of Scott Air, who's had a long career as a major league reliever. Willie, a former draft pick of the Twins, 23rd round back in 1999 out of the baseball powerhouse, the College of Eastern Utah. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full name is William Mays Air. 2-hit game for Ryan Friel. So 1 on 1 out for De Jesus. So William shortened to Willie, and that's right. His full name is Willie Mays Air.
Ryan Friel's doing a real good job tonight, Ryan. He's just going to staying patient at the plate, real quiet, getting his pitch, and just getting it out over the infield. So two base hits tonight for him.
Friel has attempted 1 stolen base all year with the Orioles, the Cubs, and the Royals, and was thrown out. De Jesus 1 out of 4. He doubled home Friel back in the 5th inning, and then later scored in the Billy Butler 2-run home run. Sky to center. Hamilton is there. And 2 down. So as the story goes, Willie Air was named after his uncle William, but his mom couldn't think of a middle name. She was a big baseball fan, so she just came up with Mays. So it's not an accident that his full name is Willie Mays Air. But rather than try and make a career as a 5-tool outfielder, he made a major league career on the mound. Speaking of Willies, Bloomquist has had a good night. Walked in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 5th, but that was a productive out. Moving to Jesus 2nd to 3rd, and then doubled leading off the 7th inning and scored on Tien's sac fly. Look at where Josh Hamilton was playing. Right there. Joakim Soria going to try and get the last outs and end the losing streak. clock, Marlon Byrd and Nelson Cruz. So Trey Hillman, who has previously stated that he does not want to use Joakim Soria for more than 4 outs to protect his arm. Soria has had Tommy John surgery. He's been on the disabled list this year with a sore shoulder. And with the Royals so far back as they are right now, and Soria with a long-term contract, you really do have to ask yourself, I mean, how much do you really want to risk injuring him in something that could take him out of 2010, possibly 2011? But when you start to get into a double-digit losing streak, and Soria hasn't had a lot of work, it's a good night to pitch. It's not typical 95 degrees for late July. Trey and pitching coach Bob McClure meeting with Soria, as Trey does before every game, trusting Joakim and his judgment of how his arm feels and assessing the situation. Soria saying, I can go 6 outs. He wants to be a part of stopping the bleeding, and he has 2 outs to go to do just that.
Well, Joakim, really, this is where Miguel Oliva wants the ball, and he puts it right on the glove. I mean, that's pinpoint control that he has is just uncanny.
And now Marlon Byrd 1 for 3. Soria throws ball 1.
Well, you know, you're talking about Soria, Ryan. It's hard to be on a ball club and not feel like you're participating. And I think that's kind of what Joakim Soria was going through. Is these guys are really having a hard time, and I'm the only one down here that's waiting for that perfect time to be on the field. And I can understand exactly where he's coming from.
And it's a decision you make as a group. The manager, the pitching coach, and the closer. One and 2 on Marlon Byrd. Rangers have not scored since the 4th inning. Luke Kochaver going 7, giving up only 5 hits, 3 runs. One of them was unearned. No walks, 13 strikeouts, which is 1 shy of a team record. Mark Gubicza had 14 back in '88. Two balls, 2 strikes. Two down. And now it's Nelson Cruz, who struck out twice against Luke Kochaver. Last year, the Royals had a 12-game losing streak, which began after John Lester no-hit them. This year, a 10-game losing streak, which began after a shutout started by John Lester, finished by Jonathan Papelbon. It's 1-1 on Cruz. And all those blown leads, especially after the All-Star break. Tonight it's the Royals trying to come back and win it. They're 1 strike away. Remember, the Royals had the bases loaded in the 1st inning, a chance to do something against Derek Holland, couldn't score. Holland then retired 7 in a row, and the Rangers got a 3-run lead, but haven't done anything since. Into left to Jesus, his back. He's going to have to play it off the fence. Well, you can see both sides of the story here, Frank. as Trey has said, desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's why Soria is getting an opportunity to go 6 outs. But this is what Trey Hillman wanted to avoid when you bring your closer out for 6 outs. He's been on the disabled list with a shoulder injury, and now he's into the mid-30s with his pitch count.
Well, that probably will make him unavailable for tomorrow's game, and you know, he's a strike thrower, and that's probably why they went ahead and said, okay, we can go 6 outs because of the way he throws strikes.
Taylor Teagarden 0 for 3. That is pitch number 35 for Soria. After the game, Joel, Jamie, and Split will be at Rivals for Boulevard Royals Live. Brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Joel with an interview on the field. And then highlights and analysis from the 3. 0-2. On the corner, and the losing streak is over. So Soria